Don't forget to subscribe!
Yesterday, we discussed 3 Tekken characters, Kunimitsu, Ogre or True Ogre, and Gon, who deserve to return to the Tekken series. Now, let's talk about 3 more characters who are still worthy of fighting in Tekken 8. Fakumram is a character introduced in Tekken 7 as part of Season Pass 3, released in March 2020. He is a Muay Thai fighter from Thailand with a large, tall, and intimidating physique, unlike previous Muay Thai characters in Tekken, such as Bruce Irvin. Fakumram has a more brutal and aggressive fighting style with extremely wide attack range. He enters Tekken with a tragic backstory, depicting how his life drastically changed from being a talented fighter to becoming a tool for a criminal organization that exploited his skills for their own gain. His physical prowess and technical abilities made him increasingly famous and admired, leading to his recruitment into international competitions. However, his life took a dark turn when he and his family were kidnapped by a corrupt organization that exploited his strength for their benefit. This organization used threats and violence to force Fakumram into illegal fights and various other forms of exploitation. For the safety of his family, he had no choice but to obey their orders. This situation ultimately led him to participate in the King of Iron Fist tournament, where he hoped to free himself and his family from the organization's grasp. In combat, Fakumram relies on Muay Thai, known as the Art of 8 Limbs, due to its use of elbows, knees, kicks, and punches, highly effective in both close and mid-range combat. His fighting style is distinct, featuring fluid attack combinations, long-range strikes that are difficult to avoid, and high damage output in every punch and kick he delivers. One of his greatest strengths lies in his wide attack range, allowing him to pressure opponents from a considerable distance. Additionally, many of his attacks possess armor properties, meaning he can absorb enemy attacks while still executing powerful counters. This combination makes him one of the characters with the best offensive capabilities in the game. Despite his many strengths, Fakumram also has some weaknesses that players should be aware of. One major drawback is his large hitbox, making him more susceptible to long combos and attacks that might miss smaller characters. Additionally, some of his moves have slow frame data, meaning that if a player isn't careful with their execution, Fakumram can be countered and punished with high damage by faster opponents. Furthermore, while he has excellent wall carry, some of his moves have long recovery times, which, if not used wisely, can be exploited by opponents to turn the tide of battle. Even with these weaknesses, Fakumram remains a strong choice for players who enjoy characters with powerful attacks, a brutal fighting style, and dominance in mid to close range combat. He is ideal for aggressive players who take advantage of his long attack range to keep opponents under pressure. With a combination of physical superiority, deadly Muay Thai techniques, and high damage output, Fakumram stands out as one of the most compelling characters in Tekken 7. Julia Cheng is one of the most iconic characters in the Tekken series, first introduced in Tekken 3 as the successor to her adoptive mother, Michelle Cheng. Julia has a background as an environmental activist and a martial arts expert, mastering Chinese martial arts as her primary fighting style. In Tekken 7, Julia returns as a DLC character in Season Pass 2. With a more modern appearance and a new persona as a live streamer focused on environmental conservation campaigns. While she appears more relaxed and cheerful compared to her previous iterations, Julia remains a deadly fighter with fast attacks. Julia became deeply interested in environmental science and dedicated herself to finding ways to protect the rapidly deteriorating rainforests due to human exploitation. This motivation led her to study technology and develop scientific solutions to restore the environment. In Tekken 7, Julia adopts a new persona, a live streamer who uses social media to spread awareness about environmental protection. While this new persona adds a lighter side to her character, her ultimate goal remains the same: to protect nature and find ways to save the world. In combat, Julia relies on Chinese martial arts, a fighting style that blends fast attacks, acrobatic movements, and fluid punch and kick combinations. One of her greatest strengths is her mix-up and pressure game, making her highly unpredictable. She has a variety of attack strings that transition between overheads, low attacks, and grabs, forcing opponents to stay alert at all times. Additionally, Julia possesses exceptional wall carry, allowing her to push opponents toward the wall with ease and extend her combos for massive damage. One of Julia's signature moves is Party Crasher, a fast and effective approach tool that helps her close the gap and maintain offensive pressure. However, despite her many strengths, Julia also has some weaknesses that players need to be aware of. One major drawback is her lack of safe moves on block, meaning that if a player becomes too aggressive without proper timing, Julia can be punished with powerful counterattacks. Additionally, some of her key moves have slow startup, making her vulnerable against characters with faster attacks and strong counters. To maximize Julia's potential, players must effectively combine mix-ups and understand when to apply pressure or play defensively. Despite her weaknesses, Julia remains a powerful character for players who enjoy fast-paced attacks, unpredictable mix-ups, and a fluid, adaptable fighting style. She is best suited for players with quick reflexes who thrive on continuous pressure and rushdown gameplay. With her balanced mix of speed, damage, and mobility, Julia stands out as one of the top choices in Tekken for those looking to dominate opponents through mix-up heavy and aggressive playstyles. Armor King is one of the most iconic characters in the Tekken series, known as the eternal rival of King. Unlike King, who has a more heroic personality and focuses on helping orphans, Armor King has a darker and more mysterious aura, with a brutal and aggressive fighting style. He first appeared in Tekken as a sub-boss in Tekken 1, and later became a playable character in Tekken 2. After a long disappearance, Armor King returned in Tekken 5, Dark Resurrection, with a more complex backstory. In Tekken 7, Armor King appeared as a DLC character in Season Pass 2, featuring a more modern fighting style, while still retaining his signature elements as a wrestler with fast and dangerous attacks. Armor King's background has always been surrounded by mystery, especially because there are two different characters who have used the Armor King identity. The first Armor King was a professional wrestler who had a brotherly relationship with the second Armor King. He had a long-standing rivalry with the first king and continued to compete against him in various tournaments. However, after suffering a severe injury in a bar fight against Craig Marduk, the first Armor King eventually passed away. The second Armor King, who was the younger brother of the first, then appeared in Tekken 5, Dark Resurrection, with the goal of avenging his brother's death by defeating Marduk. Since then, the second Armor King has carried on his brother's legacy and continued his rivalry with both King and Marduk. In combat, Armor King combines pro wrestling moves with fast, fluid attacks, making him a flexible and deadly character. Unlike King, who focuses more on chain grabs and classic wrestling techniques, Armor King is more aggressive with strong counter-hit attacks, fast strikes, and a more varied fighting style. He has better mix-ups than King, offering various attack options that can make it difficult for opponents to predict his next move. Additionally, Armor King possesses powerful grapple attacks, although they are not as complex as King's chain grabs. One of Armor King's main strengths is his strong rushdown capability, allowing him to continuously pressure opponents without giving them a chance to retaliate. Furthermore, Armor King has a better sidestep than King, enabling him to evade opponent attacks more easily and create openings for counterattacks. He also has a solid wall carry, allowing him to maximize damage when successfully pushing opponents to the wall. However, like other characters, Armor King has some weaknesses. One of them is his lack of complex chain grabs, which makes him inferior to King in the grappling aspect. Additionally, some of his attacks have less safe frame data compared to King, making him more vulnerable to punishes from opponents with quick reactions. Armor King is also more challenging to play than King since he relies on a combination of rushdown, counter hits, and grappling, requiring a deep understanding of frame data and reading opponents. Despite this, Armor King remains an extremely appealing choice for players who enjoy aggressive characters with a varied fighting style, deadly counter hits, and strong rushdown capabilities. He is well suited for players who prefer fast-paced gameplay and like to pressure opponents with unpredictable attacks. With his fierce appearance, mysterious aura, and revenge-driven backstory, Armor King remains one of the most fascinating characters in the Tekken series, both in terms of gameplay and lore. Alright, those are the 3 characters that still deserve to appear in Tekken 8. Each has a unique fighting style, an awesome backstory, and different strategies in the arena. Do you prefer Fakumram's brute strength, Julia's fast mix-ups, or Armor King's wild aggression? Write your thoughts in the comments. Which character do you like the most and why? Or is there another character you want us to discuss in the next video?